With everything inspected where we want it to be, we had to take it apart one more time because now we're at the final stage.
It is a dial with an SUV going downhill. That is your downhill assist.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Defiant Jeep. Today we got another fun project going on and it's a little exciting. Something I put off for a little while, but I've finally got enough break time to get it done because I really don't know how long it's going to take me. It is my first time doing it. And this job shouldn't take but a couple hours, but me doing it for the first time, I want to be really careful. I want to make sure I don't break anything. I want to follow my instructions to the T as possible. And what we're doing today is we will be installing the B&M what is it, the Magnum Pro Stick or Stealth Magnum Pro Stick, which is actually pretty neat. Let me go ahead and unbox this for you. Before I do the unboxing though, I do want to talk about the factory shifter. Now if you can see right here, the factory shifter itself has its own pattern. Now all JKs, no I'm sorry, let me recant that. JKs that I know of from like 2012 to 2017, they have this maybe like a Z pattern type shifter that you have to move, constant move, and there's no lock, there's no lockout. It's free to move back and forth, which is something like that bothers me. There have been situations when I want to slap the stick, and if you slap it too hard, it may throw itself in reverse. You don't want to do that. You can damage your transmission. Or let's say you or your loved one or whoever horse around in your vehicle a little bit, you accidentally hit the stick and you may inadvertently go into manual mode instead of full automatic, and then you want to find out why your transmission is not shifting, and then you realize it's in manual mode, which is kind of a pain in the backside too. So this stick actually helps eliminate some of that. And then, actually, let me grab that. Now this stick, as you can see, beautiful black. It's got the same pistol grip type shift hander that Defiant already has, which of course I'm going to lose. I'm going to remove that since this one already came with one, with the addition of these buttons right here. You got a downshift and an upshift, and this is for when you get into manual mode, and you can just do that automatically by hitting the buttons without having to slap it left or right like you would on a factory shifter. And along with this shifter, one of the biggest reasons that I really loved about it, because it's just straightforward and backward motion like a traditional transmission shifter. And then the way to get into that is gated with this trigger right here. So this is how you would select getting into park and reverse. Let's say from a parked position, you squeeze it, just pull it back. If you're in drive only wanting to get into reverse, you just slap it once. And there is a gate right there in the middle that keeps it from moving any further than neutral. If you want to get into reverse, give it a full squeeze, put it in reverse, or give it a half squeeze to get into park. And we're going to go ahead and unbox the rest of this right now. Let me show you all the good stuff that's in here. Let me put that back in my bag. It is still oiled, so I don't want to get any dirt on it. So this will be good for the moment. Now, let's see what else we got here. We got all kinds of neat stuff. Now this right here is the lower bracket. Should have busted out my knife, but I didn't. So let's go ahead and, of course I need my knife. I wasn't ready for this part right here. I did not do a pre-unboxing to be all ready. This is like a for real unboxing. I just touched the box. I've had this in my garage for a little while now, thinking, all right, yeah, one day I'm gonna get enough nerve and courage and confidence to do it. But I think I'm ready because I am taking a break from work. And I got enough time to fix it if I do a little boo-boo. Okay, so now you got this lever bracket that's gonna get bolted under under the body by the transmission. I believe it's going to mount like this. So this is how you see it from the front to the back. Your cable is going to go through here, and these are just the mount bolts. Let's see what else we got. Let's keep that there so don't get dirty. And this is the base mounting plate that you would mount in your cab right on the transmission tunnel. So those will get bolted first, and the shifter gets bolted right on top. Alrighty. Ooh, I should have worked gloves. Let's see what else we got going on here. We got a bag of hardware, which is everything you're gonna need. Yeah, pretty much bolts. Another cool looking little bracket. Looks like some C-clips, like actual retaining clips. A couple zip ties, and looks like a grommet that prevents extra, let's say, environment from under the transmission tunnel into the passenger compartment. So that's actually a very good little piece right there. And let me see what else we got. Oh, this is the fun stuff. Now, B&M does send a replacement shift cable. Now, this is one of B&M's heavy-duty cables, like pretty much what you would find at any off-road shop that sells B&M products. I don't know if their shifters actually come with a cable like this one did. And I'm talking about their other types of shifters, like for, let's say, race cars, hot rods, stuff that would be on the track. You know, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But this one seems to be an actual shorter cable than what they would sell, maybe a 5 or 6 foot cable for custom jobs. This particular shifter is almost a direct replacement because it fits in the factory Jeep JK console. And that's the whole purpose of this. And this heavy duty cable is going to replace the factory cable. In fact, when it's out, you know what, we're going to go ahead and just do a length comparison to see what the big deal difference is. And if the length is the difference, we're going to, of course, we're going to use it anyways. And it is a heavy duty cable versus a stock. So, you know, while we're under there, let's just go ahead and replace the whole thing. Let's get her done. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, and of course, their instructions. Now, I did peel this open because there was a cool B&M sticker that I went ahead and I took advantage of already. For those of you that are interested in this product, one, I am going to leave a link in the description below, but please read the instructions, be thorough, be extremely comfortable with these instructions. If in any way or at any time before you start that you feel that this may be a bit complicated, please see a professional, someone who does this for a living, whether it be your mechanic who's very well rounded and knowing all kinds of car stuff, or an off-road shop that this is what they do. I would definitely go see them if this for some reason may be a little complicated, and that's why I put it off. I've been, aside of my being busy, and you know, my job is my lifestyle. I got a very, very busy lifestyle and complicated. My job is very demanding of me. But we're gonna go ahead and take a stab at this. You know, I got all weekend. Like I said, this job shouldn't take but a couple hours, but you know, if I screw up somewhere, or if I get lost, I got all weekend to fix it before I go back to work. So what we're gonna do at this point right here, I'm gonna try and record as much as I can. I know that my videos can be a little lengthy, maybe going into several episodes, but I wanna give you as much detail as I can. One, honestly, I have not found any videos on YouTube where they explain about this shifter being installed in a JK, and I hope that I am the first, and I'll be very proud to be the first to provide this for you. And those of you that keep up with my videos know me, that I'm gonna be as detailed as I can. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare Defiant. I'm gonna do my best to give you as much as I can. I believe I'm gonna have to remove my engine transmission skid plate to give myself a little bit more area. From there, I'm just gonna collect some tools. We're talking some screwdrivers, like a Phillips head, a couple Allen wrenches, some Torx bits. What else I may be? A pry tool. You know, one of those panel pry tools, a plastic one. A couple of other little items that here and there, and I'll get my tools as we get along. Of course, I'm going to need a ratchet and a socket, possibly an extension. We are going to retain some of the hardware that's used, and of course, we're going to take advantage of the new ones where it applies. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to get myself all prepped up, and then we're going to start to disassemble. I got my parking brake on. I don't know if it's really necessary for this install. At some point, you're going to get under your Jeep. Now, you're going to have to make sure that there's plenty of crawl space on there It'd probably be best recommended if you had a rack or a lift and be able to, you know, lift your Jeep up in the air. But if you can't, at least use some jack stands for support. Luckily, Defiant's already got a 4-inch lift. It's still on 33s, but there should be enough space for me to crawl under there. I'm probably just going to need to remove the engine transmission skid plate just to give myself a little bit more access, but I'll take a look at it when I get there. But let's go ahead and let's put this guy, we're going to put it in 4 high just to give ourselves a little bit more working area. And I'll just put it back in park for now. Let's go ahead and turn that down. At this point right here, we are going to lift. Now I got my seats scooted all the way back just to give myself ample room, which is more than what I'm comfortable with. But let's go ahead and now we're going to lift the center console. We're pretty much just going to grab it by the cup holders and pull upward. And there it is. Now, before I completely remove this, remember I got my GM wires radio right here. And this is obviously wired in. It's going to get in the way. So let's remove this fella also. If I remember how to take this. There she goes. We're just going to take you out and let you just hang there on the side. Now, we should be able to remove this guy completely. You know what I failed? I gotta take this handle off. Let me go get a small Allen wrench set so we can remove this handle. And we should be good from there. You know what? I'm probably gonna put it back in neutral because the way that this is so close right here. Let me do that. Let me remove this handle first. Actually, I might actually squeeze out of there, to be honest. Let me give it a try. Let me see what I can do here. And I was able to. No, I'm not. I'm not that bright. No worries. Let me go ahead and. That noise is gonna be annoying. Let me go ahead and get an Allen wrench. It's gonna be tiny. It's probably gonna be like a 2 or 3 millimeter. I don't remember. Let me just get a small set and I'll take this knob off, and then we'll peel off this console. All right, back in. I don't know what that noise was, but let's find the right one and we'll move forward. Let's try a 3. Let's start a little big. And if it's too big, we'll keep on going down in size. So, where are you? Holy hole. That's not it, it's too big. So, it's all right. We got a few more sizes we can try. Let's try a 2.5. That's too big. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the hex on these set screws with the transfer case shift knob on this B&M shift handle is a 2 millimeter, and it looks like just undoing one side is enough to free the handle, so that's out. Okay, so we'll leave that there. We're gonna have to remember that it was the 2 millimeter, and we'll leave this Allen wrench set here. Alrighty, so let's go once more. What did I do with that key? Just go ahead, turn on the switch, got my foot on the brake, parking brake is on, transfer case is in 4 high, and let's put this guy in neutral just so we can get this feller out of here. How is that not gonna work for me? See if I can pull it up a little bit more. There we go. And it's out. Now, under here somewhere, there's supposed to be something for the light selector, which is something I should have made a mention over. You need to be careful for the light selector, and unless it's on the other part. Now, as you pull this off, yeah, there's no connector here. It's just a couple of clips here. You'll see 4, 5, 6, 7 of these little type of clips. And it's really, when I grabbed it from the cup holder and pulled up, this is just the top half of the center console, which is enough. That's all you need. Because you can see at this point right here, I've exposed the shifter. Let me put that back in park. I'm gonna close the switch, take the key out because that's gonna make a lot of noise. So at this point, we're ready to start this assembly. Let's go ahead. Ooh, that's dirty. I'm gonna take this out of here. Now we're gonna start with 2 screws. There's 2 screws, one on each side, which I'm probably have to also go to the passenger side. Might be this one here. There should be a similar one on this side here, and here that might be them. So yeah, these 2 large ones here. Using my fingernail, they probably Torx. Let me go find the right Torx bit for these so I can get these out of here. And then we're gonna keep on moving from there. Okay, I found the right Torx. It is actually the largest Torx bit driver I have, which is a T30. I'm just going to take these off. Now we're going to retain these. We're going to keep these bolts and put them to a side because we are going to reuse them. Get the other side. Get the sun out of my face. All right, so far so good. Let's go ahead. We're gonna move to the back. Let me. All right, sorry for that little interruption there, and I did not show you the rear end of the console where there's 2 bolts you have to remove. But take a look at this illustration. It is the back of the center console where the cup holders are, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. You're gonna find the same bolts, the ones that I just removed from the front, using the same T30 bit driver. Alrighty, so now at this point we're ready to move forward a little bit. You're gonna take a look at your shifter. Now there is a little electrical connector, or a couple of them, that you need to disconnect. You got one right here, and it's just a squeeze and pull back. It's got a, well, mine's got a white connector. I'm sure yours does the same. Got a white connector. There is going to be, I think, a couple more. Let's take a look. Okay. Alrighty, so I went ahead and I got it out. Now it was a little tricky. The top one is obvious because there's a press on here. These smaller ones, they got the black connectors on there. They're really, really tiny. So you really have to get right into the center where they join. And there's a small spot where they press and you just pull out. And all 3 of them are the same. And they're easily you can tell the difference where they go, because not only has the bottom one wrapped in like black tape, all the connectors are different, so you should not have an issue confusing them. You know, and of course there's a wire color scheme going on also. They would tell them apart, but yeah, they all got different connectors, so there should be like no confusion whatsoever. And this one, it was giving me a hard time. I had to feel around it, and you have to go all the way to the bottom where there's a little clip or a switch that you press, and press it as much as you can because it's really, really stiff. Press it and then pull, and that's how that one came out. And that was pretty neat. It looks like a USB-C. That was freaking awesome. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and start going to the next step, which we're gonna have to remove this cable release right here. Now let's find out how we're gonna do that, because it's something I need to do, but I don't want to break it either. I don't know how I release this feller without screwing it up. All right, so give me a sec. Let me figure that part out, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Alrighty, we went ahead and we got that cable release unlatched. I'm going to pretty much show you the device over here. Now, the first thing that was on there was this tan colored clip. It does have a specific orientation, so remember how you took it off, because you are going to have to reuse this. You are going to put it back on. I'll put it in the cup holder for now just so I don't lose it. Now let me show you the rest of the assembly, what I did and how I got that off. Alrighty, so right here you can see that the cable release is done. It's out of the way. It was sitting in here. Now after I had taken off that little tan piece, there's this little tab right here, real tiny, used like a pocket screwdriver, kind of like a mechanic's pocket screwdriver, something flat. And I went ahead and depressed it and pulled it right out. And then this cable was right in here, and this little one right there. So I kind of wedged the maneuver to get that cable out. And there was a split right there, so I kind of used my tiny little flathead to wedge in there to open it up a little bit more just so I can get this out. So now we're done. At this point right here, now we're going to take off the retaining bolts for the shifter. Now there are 4 of them. You see that there is one here somewhere. Let me find it. Get all this stuff out of my way. But there are 4 of them, 1 in each corner. 3 of them are easily accessible. The 4th one, we're going to have to move the lower end of the console out of the way a little bit to access it. But once that's out, we can go ahead and pretty much release the shifter assembly. And I believe from this point, all we got to do is just disconnect the actual shift cable to get her done. So let's go ahead and get started. I got it. All right, that's all 4. So at this point you can see the shifter itself is now released. So I believe all we got to do at this point is just release the shift cable right here. Looks like a smaller nut. I don't believe that's a 10. That's probably an 8. Yeah. Let me go get an 8mm socket. We'll take that boy right off. I'm gonna grab this extension, a little excessive on the extension, but that's what happens to be here. And yeah, that's that. Alright, so from this side, that 8mm head, I'm actually going to detach the actual shift cable from the shifter itself. Let's see if I can capture this. Here you are, let's put you there. Cable is released. Let's see if this guy comes right out. Unless there's something else that I'm missing and I'm not paying attention. Okay, I need to release that from the back. Okay. That's what that is. I need to release this. How do I do that? I see how you work. Same idea as the other cable. Kind of, sort of, I think. How do you release? All right, this is another one of those situations that I am going to look into it to see how I release it, and then I will show you how I did it. Alrighty, so the cable is out. So now, remember when I had released the cable here, and it was still, there's still a mount right here, and it had a big old plastic something on there. Now what I did is I used a larger screwdriver, more like a pry bar. I found a nice fulcrum, and I pushed upward. And I'm gonna admit, yeah, I broke a little something, but in my case, it's okay because I'm replacing the cable anyways and putting on a new cable. But please be careful when you're doing this. Let's go ahead and remove the shifter. I gotta get this back up. Come on. I know you can do it. Why are you giving me such a hard time, bro? Okay, here's the factory shifter. Let's put this to a side for a second. Now, here is your cable mechanism release. Here's the old shift cable. And I want to take a look at this, but I don't see anything that would be like, there's no switch or anything on it. Could be that part that broke off, I don't know. But like I said, I am replacing this regardless. Ooh, hey, and while you got this exposed, if you can clean down here, go ahead. I don't know, a piece of tissue got there. But right now, this is all looking good. And we're ready to move forward to the next step. So let me go ahead and get ready. And remember, all the hardware that you're using so far, for the most part, you are going to reuse it. You do have new hardware for some items, but not for all. So any hardware that you remove, nuts, bolts, washers, whatever, keep it until you're done with this project to make sure that you don't need it anymore. But let me go ahead and prep for the next step. Before I do that, let's take a look at this shifter real quick. The factory one. This B&M shifter, I'm pretty much gonna take it off, keep it as a memento. If anybody wants it, I'll probably try and sell it, I don't know. But I'm definitely keeping this. The rest of the shifter I'm gonna throw away because to me it's garbage. I just don't like this whole Z pattern kind of thing. And I'm sure it's a very popular German design. I know a lot of Mercedes that have it like that. I just don't like it. Now from this, you do have this control module right here, this white one. We're gonna keep this and we're gonna transfer that to the new shifter. We will talk about that later. Let me go ahead and get ready for the next steps. Probably gonna take a break to be honest. And then we're gonna keep on chugging, but we're gonna get this finished. I mean, we're already in it. I already got the shifter off. There's no way to go but forward, so let's make it happen. Alrighty. At this point right here, we are almost finished with the disassembly of the top. We just have to do one more thing over here, and that's this cable. We need to push this through the transmission tunnel. Now, there is a built-on grommet in there. How are we gonna take that guy off of there is a good question. Because I did not disassemble the entire thing, meaning the rest of this dash. That's staying there. So how will I remove that? I'm probably have to get on the passenger side to take a closer look. Let me move that out of the way. Give myself enough space to work. See what I'm gonna do about it. All right, let's get to the other side. All right, let's make our way downstairs, and what I mean by that is under Defiant to see how we're gonna get the rest of this cable out. And once this cable is out, we're ready to move forward to do with some of the linkage under there to get it all connected. We're almost done. We're like halfway through. This assembly is half of it. Putting it together is the rest. We're almost done. Alrighty, break time is over. Now, I was able to manage, or yeah, I guess I said that right. I managed to get the cable out from the transmission tunnel. There's this one clip right there on this big gnarly looking something on the cable itself, and I picked this off, and it really didn't do anything. So take it off or not doesn't really mean anything. All it did was just freely move that part on the cable back and forth, but it did nothing for releasing it. So I just worked it from the inside the passenger compartment, and yeah, I managed to go ahead and push the cable through there. Now from under Defiant, on the, yeah, I guess on the bottom side, beneath, I got the cable hanging. We're about done with the disassembly. We got, I believe, one more bracket to remove, and then free up the transmission end of the cable, and that's done, and we're ready for installation. And to replace all these new parts, we're going to do a little prepare. But let me go ahead and show you what I got done so far. Alrighty, so now that we come over here, you can see I got the cable hanging. Now, oh, there it is. I got that cable hanging, and see that one thick gnarly piece? That's where that one retaining clip came off of, but that just kept it from freely moving forward and back to allow the cable to move within itself when you use the gear selector. Now let me show you that one more bracket that we got to remove, and once that's done, we're going to go ahead and start to reassemble everything. Alrighty, so being underneath Defiant does the camera no good.
I'm not able to capture any real image because I got so much stuff in the way and my hand's gonna be in the way. But let me try and show you what I'm looking at here. Now, if you see that assembly where the cables are, and you see one cap screw right there, that's one of the two that have to be removed. There's one right above it, but you can't see it because it's directly above it. I've already determined that the hex head is a 13 millimeter. So I am going to remove those two. And then if you follow that real thin silver cable to the gear selector, I have to remove that as well. And then the cable is freely removed from the transmission. So let's go ahead and give that a best shot. I'm just gonna put this down. I'm not even gonna stop it. But my hand is right here. Yeah, it doesn't look good. But okay, let's give it a whirl. Where's my ratchet? Here it is. All right, let me figure out this part. I'm gonna remove the cable, and then like I said, we're gonna do a cable length comparison between a stock cable and the B&M heavy duty cable. Alrighty, so I did manage to get the cable off. In fact, let me put this one down. This is the end that was on the transmission side, and as you can see, is it really? No, I'm wrong. Haha. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. This is the shifter side. This is the transmission side. And as you can see, it's just a hole. This is probably like dense rubber or something like that, but it was just a hole. It's very side specific. This side is flat. This side is got a recessed eye. And all it did is, because of it being some kind of dense rubber, I was just able to pull it off, and that's all it is. The part that attached down here was kind of like a real tiny stem and a ball to keep it in place, and the stem was about as long as I had to be to fit in here, and that's about done. So, and as I said, let's just do a length comparison. I was wondering why they provided a heavy duty cable aside of the fact just to provide a heavy duty cable. Now, if I was to do this end to end, let me see. The B&M cable is slightly longer. Let's call it, let me see, I don't know, 6 inches. But that's okay because, let's put it on the floor, the transmission end has got this adjustable end right here. So you're gonna wind up making adjustments anyways when you're setting up your gears, and that's normal. This is actually a pretty neat setup. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and we're ready to start assembly. We need to prepare a few items over here. We need to make sure our inventory is legit. And what I mean by inventory is everything's supposed to be on that packing list. And this is something you really should do at the beginning to make sure you're not missing any parts. Make sure you don't hang up your project. Kind of like the Defiant that has no shifter right now because it's right here, you know? So if I'm missing a piece, I'm actually stuck. And I'm kind of parked a little jacked. So I feel bad for my neighbor at this point, but okay, let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna start preparing. I'm gonna do an inventory count, make sure everything's on the up and up, and then we're gonna start to install all the new stuff. But for right now, let's go ahead and let's start getting myself situated. Alrighty, we pretty much got our prep done. We did the inventory on all our hardware, and everything seems to be good so far. Now, there was a couple little prep things I did that I didn't show you. The shift cable. I had to install this grommet. It did not come assembled. It's pretty much basic, just slip it on. You just have to pay attention to the orientation of this grommet because it's really a weather seal. From the back end or the transmission side, I went ahead and I disassembled all this stuff, the hardware, the other grommets and whatnot, slipped it in this way, made it up here. This is the shifter side. So we're gonna leave this one like that. All right, and one other thing that I felt I was gonna prepare before installation is this cool looking I don't know what they call this piece, but it goes on the linkage on the underside. And there is these 3 set screws. I don't know if you can see this. You got 1, you got 2, and then you got 1 here on the other side. I went ahead and I prepared that. I ran those in as much as I could without protruding through the exit hole on the inside on all of them. And that's just a prep so that when I get down there, because these are like super tiny, getting to it might be a challenge. And it is a very tiny, it's like a 5/32 inch Allen wrench that I got to use on that. And of course I have to install, what did I do with it? Here it is. Where is the old cable? All right, so where the old cable was disconnected, that's this bracket right here. I'm going to replace it with this bracket, top bottom, using the same mounting location where I had removed that cable. This hole right here, this is going to be the pass-through for the cable itself, so I'm going to use the factory hardware. I'm tighten those down, and this is done. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and bolt this in, and then I'm going to run the cable. That's going to take a little time. This is going to be somewhat easy because it's just the 2 bolts and there's nothing else in the way. Just going to tighten these down. The challenge is routing that cable. So let me just get that done, and as soon as I get the cable routed, I'll get right back to you. So just hang in there for me, and we'll get this done as fast as we can. Half of this project's already done, which is the disassembly. The hardest part is going to be routing that cable. Really, that's going to be the hardest part. The rest is just put it back together.